it breaks through the wall. He goes inside the wall. His wall is broken. He's inside the wall. Half his legs are like floating outside, and half of him is inside. And then he's like stuck. And then he somehow like fixes himself in like a few seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. Then looks at Rana and he says, "Bancho maar dunga."
This guy suddenly don't know what happened to him. He took a pot of boiling water and threw it on that stray dog. So he said, let's pitch 100 rupees each and we'll recharge this. So what will we do? So he said, you can download stuff from internet. There is something called torrents. Which you can download anything, any movie, any game or anything.
Oh, and I was like, and I walk out of there, I felt like I was just fucking robbed a casino like in Ocean's 11. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm the badass guy, man. And I was like, dude, I'm not coming to Target for the next 1 month at least, not this one. Fucking stay away from this thing. Hi Bikram, so we'll be continuing with the stories which relate to our college, particularly the first, something that happened for the first time in our lives.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue. I think I just told a story.
Yeah, check out the first part if you are just directly coming to this video. So the first part link will be somewhere here, and you can check that out first and then come back to this video.
Yeah, it's going to be a series, but right now we're doing 2 parts. So this is the second part of the first part. And if you want to watch the first part is interesting. It has a lot of interesting stories, including ghost stories, including college shootings, near-death experiences. Also, a little bit of coming of age after watching Dhoom. You would not expect that anybody, but yeah, it happens. You never know. So those 4 stories are there. So they'll not waste your time. I don't know what else you're doing anyway. So I'm not really sure. So entire day on a Saturday, probably it's enough jerking you can do actually in a day, right?
Boy, that doesn't look too bad, Jim. Good job, doctor.
The swelling should subside in about 8 or 9 days.
And on the Rogan, they were doing like, you're not able, apparently they said the jerking factor has gone down. Now people are not able to masturbate enough because now they're living with people and their kids are not going out. And the guy was saying like my kids are not going out and also it's difficult. And I'm like, why do you have kids and wife and you're still jerking off? So I'm just like confused with the whole thing. And how big is your room? Where do you actually jerk off? Like in the room, just Rogan said, why don't you just do it in the washroom? He's like, I'm not a shower jerk guy. I was like, what kind of like you want like luxuries you want? Like, in India, Bikram, like people live together, like people live in the same like room and with like another probably parents and they still end up making babies or something. I don't know. So I don't know what kind of luxury these guys want.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you take the field and next story you want to tell. Hopefully not a ghost story.
No, not ghost story. That's why I said that was the only experience I had. So
I was just messing with you. Yeah.
Okay, just hold on. My camera just went out.
I will regale people till now. So I've had a lot of other stories which I might share later on. So I did have my first kiss, just like most of the people. I don't want to talk about it right now, but maybe later. I did fall in love, that I wrote a book about. So that happened in college, which towards almost the end of the college, because it was in the 6th year. I was in college like for forever. So that happened. So that's, again, I'm not going to talk about so much. I started working, and which is something, Bikram, you can stop me whenever you are ready. I'm just trying to regale people.
Yeah, sure.
First time I left the country for a first world, which was primarily in Melbourne. Before I was in Adelaide for a little bit, and for 6 years, 6 months in Adelaide and almost 6 years in Melbourne. and that's where I started drinking. That's why I did not smoke up. Weirdly enough, didn't smoke up. It only happened after college, and yeah, I don't smoke, so it doesn't work out very well. I mean, I don't feel anything. I mean, in a bad way. Bad way as in like nothing happens in a bad way. So yeah, I had an official girlfriend that time, and after a long time, first time I went to nightclubs. First I went to places no, where you should not ever go, the brothels. I was not. Part of like whole solicitation, but we used to go with people. They used to have these rooms like proper living areas, or where people just sit,
Mhm.
lobbies, and waiting for people. So I had my friends and everything. All of us will go like in 10 in car. I think few of them were actually using the hookers. So, and the rest of us would just wait in the waiting room, it had billiard table, pool table, the video games, and couch and all. You just chill. Sometimes I remember even like mother would call up, and sometimes we would like, hey, it's like, "Hey, how's going? How's going? What's happening?" I was like, yeah, I just went to the Gurdwara. I'm just going back home now. She's like, okay, no problem, no problem. And I was sitting in the lounge in the brothel or something. It's like crazy, but like, yeah, it was. But to clarify, I was not into it, and I'm not even saying to support myself, like just to justify anything. But I was not really into it. So yeah, but we used to be a gang. We would always go together. So if your camera is fixed, you can go on.
Okay, so yeah, this is something a bit darker. Uh, it's it's like a okay. I'll just tell it. So
Go on. Yeah.
this is the experience where first experience of having a dog, and I'll just tell you, we didn't. This happened in my second year of college. In fact, just at the end of the second year, and
Mm-hmm.
I was living with my best buddy, uh, who is still my best buddy, and
Mm-hmm.
his name is Samir. And this guy was a very avid dog lover, and I mean, I didn't have much of an opinion on dogs. And we never had any pets at our house, and I was not I was not so keen on having pets anyway. So and we used to not cook ourselves because we used to live in a very small kind of a room. Didn't have any kitchen. It was just a room and a attached washroom, and we used to just go out and have food outside. So there were like small dhaba kind of thing where you can get decent food for very cheap. So I think it was like for 15 rupees you can get uh, 10 rupees, I guess, for dal, chawal, and one sabzi. So
Mm-hmm.
we used to go that. It was very near to our house. So coming back to the story, um, and this happened in 2009. So we used to go to that dhaba to have lunch when and we didn't used to go to college that much, which I'll tell you later the reason. I had like serious attendance shortage, and I actually didn't even they didn't even allow me to sit for one semester of exam. So that's a different story altogether. So okay, so we used to go there for lunch, and we were having lunch there. It was, I think, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and in those places, dhabas, there will be a lot of dogs around who would come for leftovers, and sometimes these people will also feed those dogs, stray dogs, street dogs. So there was this small dog which has not grown and become an adult yet, and I think he was feeding on the leftovers. And I don't know what happened. This guy who was serving us, so there was the cook who was the owner of the dhaba, and there was a helper which who was, I think, around 16, 17 years old. And this guy suddenly, don't know what happened to him. He took a pot of boiling water and threw it on that stray dog. And that dog, you can understand, if you throw boiling water to anyone, what will happen to that creature. And it's a dog, small dog, must be 1 year old, I guess. I'm not sure. And that dog just started yelping and crying, and and he it had a big boil on the back where the water landed, and it was just in lot of pain. And my friend Samir, who's a big dog lover, he just got pissed with that guy, and he started abusing him and said, why do you have to do that? Is the dog bothering you? It's just eating the leftovers. Why do you have to be so cruel to that creature? And he started petting the dog, and he asked me, should we take this dog to our home? I think it will die if we leave it like this, because it had a uh, very bad injury on the back because of the boiling water. So I said, okay, yeah, let's take it. I mean, I don't mind if we can save his life. So then we took the dog. He only took the dog in his lap, and we got it to our home. We cleaned the dog, and he knew about some of the because he had a dog at his home, so he knew what medicines you can apply. So he applied some medicine over it. We got some milk for him, for the dog, and it was good. And the dog also, I think, liked us. So I think within 3-4 days it started feeling well, and yeah, so it started feeling well, and we were also happy that okay, at least we were able to save his life. And he used to be very happy since he was very young. He was very playful as well. And some if we were going to college, we would lock him inside with some food, and he would stay play around in the room itself, and he was very happy. And this, I think, went on for 10 days, not even 10 days, I think 5, 6 days. And we felt okay, we will keep it, we'll feed it and all that. But suddenly after fifth or sixth day, uh, he started, I mean, that burn he had on his back, it started again getting bad. And before we can think of anything, before we, I mean, and we were living in very outskirts city, we didn't even know any vet where we could have taken him. And before we know, his condition became very worse, and he started yelping, started belching. Whatever food we used to give him, he started vomiting that out. And uh, by nightfall, his situation got so worse that we knew that he is going to die. It's a characteristic of a dog, especially street dogs. If they are dying, they won't die where they live generally. That area, they will go somewhere else and die. So it started getting restless, and we didn't know what to do. It was like 10, 11 o'clock in the night, and Samir said that I think he's going to die. We can't do anything. So we took him out and laid him on the ground, so that if he wants, he can go out. And we didn't know whether he had a mother or any family, dogs, which he knew. And eventually I just went away. We didn't even know where he went, and after that we never saw him. So I guess he died somewhere, which we didn't. We In the morning we went out also search for, but we couldn't find any trace of him. So that was very painful. Even though I didn't have any experience of having a pet, I can totally uh, you know see people who have pets, and when eventually their pets die, how they feel. Even though we only had that dog for 7 days, I think almost 7 days, and it was very painful. And I think that is one of the reasons where I don't have pets, because I want to have pets when I can take care of it. I don't want to have anything and a pet. I just for sure, right? People have pets like, okay, I have this dog, I have this cat, and a lot of times they don't take care of. And even I think during a lot of emergencies, we have seen people will just throw their pets out because they can't take care of him or her. So that was very moving experience for me. And yeah, it that made me realize that how much how cruel we are as human beings to some of these animals.
I see. I'm not very emotional person. Obviously, I'm sorry. I'm emotional. Obviously, I'm not sentimental. So I'm not feeling like that's. I'm not. But I'm like it's gut wrenching. Obviously, regardless.
Yeah.
That I just imagine this one thing. Whoever is listening, or even just to you, Bikram, that imagine you're sitting in that. Dhaba. But what if somebody fucking threw a boiling water on you?
Yeah.
Could any human imagine doing that? No, they will not do that because it's gonna fucking destroy your life. People make movies about these things. That people throw acid on people
Yeah.
or throw boiling water. Any human will throw boiling water on other person? They will not because they know they will go to jail and the other person is gonna fucking have third-degree burns and stuff like that. How do they understand? You're just standing there randomly, just throw something at a dog, and that poor person, because he has no laws. Plus, he has the dignity to not come and there actually rip your skin apart at that point in time,
Yeah.
right? Because he was like, he just feels scared. He just feel like, I don't know what happened. Like, what happened? It doesn't. But the worst part, he can't even understand that what has
Yeah,
happened. Why did somebody do that to
Yeah.
me? He can't even understand that what had happened. Why did somebody? He doesn't even know this person. He doesn't even probably realize who did it.
Yeah.
Anyway, without going on a long rant, I know I'll just end on this thing. And before I start I actually already decided what next story I was going to go with because I wasn't sure. But after you told me this thing, I'll also start with the story which is actually slightly, not nice at the beginning, but it has a kind of like a weird, quirky, happy ending or something in a way. So I rather will be like, it will just balance it out with your story because it doesn't have a happy ending because it felt like it's probably going to go towards a tangent.
Yeah.
But the fact that it still has a happy ending for me because what you did, it developed compassion in you. This was probably first, second year in college, right?
Yeah, second year. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're still probably teenager, and I think when I know you, I've been known you for like 7 odd years now. So I think I can see probably part of that also changed you and made you who you are right now. And so
Yeah.
I think this story has a happy ending that that Dobbs, whatever we want to call him, Charlie or Charlie Sheen. So he actually helped you, and that person doing something so grotesque which he doesn't understand. Throwing boiling water, I mean, that's least people could understand, right?
Yeah.
So and then again, I keep saying people in this country are just completely like, we need to stop certain things. And anyway, that's a different topic. But the fact is that I think it helped you in some way. It created something positive out of it, and hope that person also learns and not continuously throwing boiling water on random things just
Yeah.
because they can't say anything back to them.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I think I was actually eating Little Hearts when you were saying this, and I was like, I just put in a mouthful of that, and that's when he actually said the boiling water thing happened. And when it comes on the screen, they'll be like, "Who is this insensitive fucker who's just eating Little Hearts?" And this guy just telling about. And I was like, I can't even put it back now. I was like, oh no, this just sound weird, but yeah, that's the video where it'll come through. So I'll go back to my story or start my story. This happened when I am probably. I am 19. Yeah, I'm 19 at that stage. So when I was 19, I started living with a bunch of people. As I said earlier in the earlier first part story, that I was living. We had apartment with 2 apartments back to back, single story apartments, no high rise nonsense, and they were back to back next to each other. So overall, 4 people were registered on the lease, but at any time we had at least around 10, 16 people living there all the time. Plus we had visitors and other things. So. 8 to 16, including visitors. Sometimes could be more, but generally we had 8 people living. It was 2 apartments, 4 people were always living formally, and then other people would keep coming and dropping and stay for a few days, and sometimes people would come for parties, stay around. Anyway, so remember, I was the only person. I think I was definitely the only person who was actually working part-time. At that time I was working full-time because I just finished my first semester in Adelaide. I was in hospitality, and then I had taken a job for 6 months, which used to be called stage, which is just a fancy, I think, French word for internship. So when I was doing the internship stage, so I was working full-time, and then I remember I used to come home in the evening, and I remember one night I came back, and we had a bit of a parking space as well. So it was like, when you see the video on the left, let's say these are the apartment 1, 2, 3, 4 stacked together, and then on the right we had this alleyway where you can park the cars. So as you walk in that segment or our precinct, then the first apartment was ours, rented, and the second was some Chinese couple were living there, young couple in college. Then third apartment, I don't really remember honestly. The fourth apartment was ours, so first and fourth in that precinct. and it was just an open place. There's no security or anything. So as I walked in, I realized in the alleyway, in the parking lot, there was this guy who was just like running around. Running around is like somebody, you know, you see in those Hindi movies, people after they have tons of drinks,
Yeah.
they start walking around like, you know,
Yeah.
falling off everywhere, like, you know, running. And this guy was like, his name, I still do not know his name. I think what I know is, I think that was his last name. We call him Drohi. So I think that was his last name. I think that's a Drohi is some Indian last name, but we said Drohi. Everybody, you know how boys call everybody like with last name and everything. So like people just call him Bisht.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was a Drohi. So he was just running around and he was saying something and he was repeating that over and over again. And I walked past because I was living in that time in 4th apartment, so I had to walk through. So he was walking around between the first and fourth, and he was saying something like, "Pecho maar dunga, sabko maar dunga, तेरे को मैं मार दूंगा, तेरे को मैं मार दूंगा."
हाँ कर दे रिकॉर्ड बहन चोद वकील की गाड़ी चोदेगा तू बहन के लोड़े तेरे जैसी माँ के बड़ा गौड़ आता है कोर्ट के अंदर.
And I was like, something like that. He was just like, I was like, what the fuck is this guy going? I was not very, it's not very alien to me to see drunk people because, as I said, Naveen Bhaiya used to come, people used to drink. But we really were not into shenanigans. We would just drink and pass out or probably just, you know, chill. But that seemed a lot more hysterical, a lot more dramatic and a lot more hamming. I was like, and I had never seen this guy before. And so I walked back and I walked to my apartment and I'm like, I think again Madhu, our favorite character. So either Madhu or Tillu was my best friend that time. And I asked him like, who's that fucker out there? It's like, Mardunga, what the hell is this going on? He's like, oh, that's Drohi. And he was one of the guys, his friend. I don't remember who exactly was his main friend there. But he said that guy, his friend, let's just say he was Basesar's friend. That's another guy whose first name I've forgotten. His last name was Basesar. So Basesar's friend or something. Apparently his parents in India were getting divorced. We're in Melbourne. Okay, just in case I was not making that clear. So his parents are getting divorced and he was also like our age, 18, 19. So he apparently came there in the afternoon so he could get some money. So because he didn't have it, he had around $500 or something and the tickets were around $1,000. So he wanted another 500 loan so he could buy the tickets and go back and just figure it out. He just heard that his parents getting divorced, so he wanted to go back. But apparently what we did was, instead of giving him the $500, we just got him drunk. And guess whose card did they use? They used his card and then bought stuff for like alcohol for everybody, and then they were drinking. Probably they asked him, let's just, you know, chill, have some drinks and then we let you go. So they probably already spent $100 from his thing. A bottle used to cost around $30, a Johnny Walker Red Label, but they bought tons of other things as well. I was like, okay, I didn't really pay much attention. I was like, okay, this is a bit weird, but again, not too alien for us. We were very young. We used to do weird stuff. And the second day, I go to work and I come back in the evening. Guess what? This guy is still moving around the alleyway, in the parking way. And he's like, Mar dunga. He just seems more ragged right now. I'm not even sure he slept. And I go back and like, what? The fucking guy is still here. Have you guys not sent him back or something? He's like, no, he's just still been drinking and he's not slept and he's just been drinking. And I was like, you're supposed to give him money? Where's the money coming from? It's like they're still swiping his card. Now he has like $200 left in his card. And I was like, and then I realized they're also buying groceries from his card. They're buying other chill stuff from his card. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I was like, anyway, this is not my business. So I let it be. And the third day I come back and this from office. And again, this guy is still around there, walking around doing all these things. And I go in, this time I say, I gotta put my foot down. And then I also realized apparently now he has only $7 left in his card. They're completely fucked. If he's not slept in 3 days, he's walking around, he's going fucking mental. His beard is growing, his hair is all over the place. He's just kind of fucking like, he's just become an absolute nuisance. So I just say like, what the fuck is going on? So I walk into the first apartment where he's supposed to be. Apparently he was living in first apartment. Basesar's friend, Basesar was in the first apartment. I walk in and I'm like, I think Basesar was there, another Maheshwari was there. I think I'm trying to talk to them. I was like, dude, what are you guys fucking doing? His parents are getting divorced and you're fucking him over, using his card, you buying fucking rice, Johnny, and you're stalking on fucking alcohol from his thing. They've seen fucking people are stalking like for next few days. I'm like, dude, "Are you guys gonna make a decision?" They're like, yeah, we actually, I think we realized our folly. They were just like, they were not realizing their folly, but I think they had realized that they need to do something. This is getting out of hand. So they kind of decided that everybody, because as I said, there's at one time there was always like 10, 20 people. So it was weekend, so we had around 20 people. So everybody decided like, we'll pitch in $50 and that will be $1,000 and we'll just get him. And that time we had to go to the agent to buy a ticket. There was an agent next door. So we said in the morning, we just like get him a ticket and just shoo him off. And he was inside, and then another guy came in. Again, his first name I don't remember. His name was Pradeep. I think his first name was Pradeep. Okay. What do we used to call him? Pradeep? Yeah, anyway, Pradeep Rana. So we used to call him Rana. Again, my first book's character. So he was a very good cricket player. He walks in, he was a Jat, and he was very rough. So he was like, you know, he had this accent, so he walked in, he was outside. I think he was one person who used to probably work part-time in a 7-Eleven store or something like that. I'm not sure, but he used to work. So he walks in and Drohi is inside and Drohi looks at him and Drohi says to him, "Maar dunga." Like, obviously any normal person will think like he's too fucking drunk and he's harmless, plus Rana was much taller than him. But Rana was just, no offense to Jat people, but Rana doesn't take any. So, for whatever reason, Rana grabs him by the neck, by the collar, sort of like flings him into the wall. And by the way, in Melbourne and where we were living, we didn't have those brick walls. We have those, I think, asbestos or whatever the his wall is broken. He's inside the wall. Half his legs are like floating outside, and half of him is inside. Okay, I think we have to get some picture from internet where somebody's stuck inside the wall, and then he's like stuck, and then he somehow like fixes himself in like few seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. Then looks at Rana and he says, "Pancho, maar dunga." And I'm like, then one of the guys just grabs Rana. He's like, "Please don't hurt him. He's just chutiya." Oh, that was like, what the fuck is going on, man? This is so fucked up. This guy is going nuts. And the fact is that he was harmless because all he was saying, "Maar dunga," he was not doing anything. And then I think next morning, I think that we all like went to the ATM or whatever. We just collected $50 from everyone, and I don't know what happened next day, whether they gave him the money or not, but I believe they gave him because I think he was not there next day. And I think he went to India. I have no idea after that what happened. I'm not sure. I don't recall asking people. Probably I recall asking, but I'm not sure. Nobody ever gave a real answer. But I think they did say that we sent him away. After that, we don't know what happened. His parents got divorced. Did he ever come back? Whose friend he really was? I have no fucking idea. But this is such a weird fucking story of this guy getting drunk for 3 back-to-back days. Everybody's using his card, buy fucking rice, dars, talking about alcohol. God knows what else they were fucking doing. Buy those fucking calling cards. We used to buy those calling cards like $10, $20. Like that time we used to have calling cards, and then you would used to call India. You lived in the US, so I don't know how long ago, but we used to have calling cards instead.
Yeah, even it's.
So I don't know if they bought every.
I used to.
Yeah. Right, so they were like, it's kind of fucked up. They're one of the weirdest fucking stories that I had, but I'll never forget it. And I don't know, I think I'll Google him like right now. Try to Google like who's Drohi? Can I get some fucking info on this guy? Drohi. I'll probably check with Madhu because usually I check with Madhu because he was the person when we were there. Again in Footscray, of course, that he was running around and nobody was fucking bothered. Cops didn't care because they're like, fuck you, man. You guys are fucking fucked up. This is Footscray, who cares? Unless you don't break into somebody's house, unless you don't try to like, threaten somebody for manslaughter, nobody's getting into your business. We were like, yeah, whatever, man. Jesus Christ. Plus he was in the precinct only, he was not moving out, so not bothering some older people or something. It was no
unless someone complains to the police, I don't think they.
Yeah, he was just very, very mild guy, and he was like, I mean, nobody really complains about 5 feet 6 inches guys, right? You know. Who just drunk and running around in their own precinct. So yeah, it was kind of like, okay. That was the story that
what happened. Like I have similar stories where I know people they were in very weird place, and then after that I don't know where they are right now. So yeah.
It's a limbo, right? It's like we're in a limbo that we don't know where these people are. Maybe, I don't know, this will propel us to find out where the fuck these people are, because I'm thinking now all those people who used to live with me in Melbourne, particularly those first few years, and where the fuck are these people? Like what happened? It's probably the best time has to be the best time to find people right now. Everybody's on Instagram, like, you know, there was no channels right now that, oh, once somebody's gone, how do we find this guy? Like, no way you can find somebody. It's like, forget it, man, forget it. There's no way. You have to wait for this 10-year reunion or something. And like, oh, you motherfucker, you were the guy who was like trying to sleep with my girlfriend. It's like, no, dude, that was my girlfriend. And then we were like, huh, yeah, that was your girlfriend. And you were the one who, I was the one who was trying to sleep with his girlfriend. By the way, I want to do one podcast. I don't know if you're interested in this or not, but this actually told me like, apparently there's a concept of false memories. And this is what I just played on that time. That, I said like, oh, you were the guy trying to sleep with my girlfriend. Then he reminds me, no, that was my girlfriend and you were the guy who was trying to sleep with my girlfriend.
That happens.
And there's a concept of false memories. I want to do a podcast on false memories.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a very real thing. People people believe it's not. They're not even bullshitting. They actually believe that happened, and then actually did not fucking happen at all.
Yeah, people fight over it as well. Like,
so I don't know.
No.
People fight over it. Like, I don't know. And I've had people like telling people their story, what they did, and they're like, I didn't do that. I was like, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're making it up. I was like, I'm not making it up, buddy. What do you remember? It's like, no, I wasn't there. I was doing that. No, you were there. It's like, their memory said like, no, I did not do it. I was like, yes, you did, buddy. Yes, you did. You probably just like chalked it out over your thing. Like, crossed it out completely from there. So I don't know if we'll have to like think of things that we actually feel, but we also have to believe like some things we believe which we did do, but we probably did not do at all.
Yeah, it is
freaky, but since I've heard this false memory thing, I've been thinking a lot of things. I was like, I don't know, maybe that happened. Did that happen? I'm not sure.
Yeah, some guy will come in the comments and you are lying. I was not there.
Yeah, but that's just you just fucking. I want somebody to say no to something nice I said about them. Then I will believe that's actually true. Oh, because that's a very common thing. Oh, I wasn't there. But I imagine Drohi comes in the comment section. It's like, you fucking cunts, my parents got divorced, you ate up all my money, now you're making fucking podcast on it, 19 years later you fucking die. And I'll be like, I will actually die looking at it. I was like, dude, this is so epic shit, man, Drohi. And then like, dude, my name wasn't even Drohi. He was like Krohi or something. I was like, fuck that up. And he's like, maar dunga.
Yeah.
Maar dunga. Maar dunga, that was the exact term he used, maar dunga.
Okay.
Jesus. So you ready with your story?
Yeah, so I'll go with a lighter one.
Please. Because we'll do two more stories, yours and mine, and then we'll try to wrap.
Yeah. So that's what, So I have few other stories. I think we'll have to do a third part because we are not too involved in this.
We'll do a lot of parts again in the later on. Yeah.
So okay, this one is something which I think then current generation won't be able to relate to. This is about pirating. Pirating as in downloading movies and stuff on torrent.
But people have heard of it.
So yeah. So okay. So this is again going back going back in time. This was in my 2004. I had my own computer with me, which I had bought during after 12th exam. So I had taken it to Bhubaneswar in the second year. First year I didn't take it because I was in hostel, and hostel, your things are not your things, right? it's always.
Oh, Indian hostel. Yeah, fair enough.
So second year, since we started living outside, so I took my PC, and this was 2005. So in 2005, also having an internet connection was a luxury, and phones also, the data was very expensive and was very slow. And to have a data-enabled phone, the data-enabled phone, as you call smartphones now, they were also very expensive. So it was not something which was in our reach as students, right? We have to beg our parents to buy such an expensive phone, and then there was no need for such a phone. I mean, people will say that, oh, how can you live without smartphone? But we have lived in that era where there was nothing. The phones we just used to call each other, and there was nothing else. So I remember, I think in my fourth year, 7th semester, this is late 2007 or mid 2007. So Samir is also a very prominent character in all my stories because he has always been with me. So his big brother, he was a merchant. He was in merchant navy, and he used to travel around the world. So I think he had one of those smartphones which had data capability. So once I think he gave his older phone to Samir, and he got it to Bhubaneswar where we were living, and this had data capability. So he said, "Okay, let's do one thing. We'll reach." So that time there was Airtel which we were using Airtel connection, and there was no Geo obviously. So Airtel had this thing going on that you can recharge for I think 500 rupees. Or it was I think, yeah, 500 rupees. So 500 rupees in 2008, 2007. It was still a good amount of money, but you would get unlimited data. But it was 2G data, not 3G or 4G. So 2G you barely get 10 kbps to 20 kbps. So so Sami said, okay, let's do this recharge. We'll all pitch in some money. We'll pitch in 100. So we were 5 people living at one place. So he said, let's pitch 100 rupees each, and we'll recharge this. So what will we do? So he said, you can download stuff from internet. There is something called torrents, which you can download anything, any movie, any game, or anything. I said, wow, this is something very new, because generally what we used to do, if you had to watch movies, we had to rent those DVDs, and those DVDs were also pirated, they were not original DVDs. But those DVDs, the quality was not so good. I mean, DVD is not even HD quality. So he said, okay. So we said, okay, let's do it. So we recharged. So we used to recharge his phone, his number for 500 rupees, and we used to get unlimited data. And what we used to do, we used to connect it to my PC. I only had PC; no one else had any computer with them, and we used to download a movie. So a 700 MB movie used to take 1 week to download. So one movie, and it used to run every day, 24 hours. Then only it used to happen. And in the night, we used to wake up and see if the download is still running, because sometimes the connection used to go out and it used to stop. So so whenever someone used to get up to go to loo, they used to check, okay, whether it's running. If it's not running, then they would wake me up. Vikram, it's not running. What happened? Let's go and fix it. So we used to wait for 1 week for the movie to download, and then we would watch it over and over and over again. We will call other people as well who are living nearby. We will watch it, and then we'll again put some movie for download, and will again take one week to download. And yeah, I just find it very funny compared to now, where we can just open Netflix and watch anything. And now I think people don't even pirate that much. And that time we used to like diligently, keep track of that. It used to go on 10 kbps, 15 kbps, which is which is like nothing. And we used to wait for 1 week to get to movie to get finished. And sometimes what used to happen, after the file is downloaded, we used to find out that this is not the correct file. This is not the correct movie. And imagine, after waiting
Oh,
1 week,
Jesus.
you find out this is not the correct one. So that was just something which when I was thinking about all these stories, which I thought was very really strange and weird thing. And yeah, that is one of the things which I remember.
All right, two things I take from this thing. First of all, I think people, even if you said you're not familiar with it, I think that time is gone, but everybody knows torrent. And until a couple of years ago, everybody was still downloading from torrent. By the way, right now also I have tons of movies from my friend Romy. Shout out to her. If she's alive. So she's still given me because she's the one who gave me the show which everybody dies, Chernobyl. Even the people who walk in there, they die. So right now we are in Chernobyl of our own. Kornobyl. This is my Kornobyl. So Kornobyl sounds more like Bengali version of Kornobyl.
Correct.
So that happened. Everybody knows about torrent, and everybody's pretty much lived on torrent for almost 20 years. Till all this Netflix and everything, all
Yeah.
these things, and data became. When I used data in my a couple of years ago, when you gave me your Netflix password, I told you first thing that in my house I still have the old Airtel connection, and my like speed is like 512 KB or something, and I was like so slow I can't even use Netflix. It's so
Yeah.
bad. But right now things are getting better. They claim to be much better than they are, but they're still better. You kind of be okay even in this time when everybody's using ridiculous amount of data. I'll speak slower because people are complaining. speak too fast. I just realized I was speaking even more faster. So they have complained that what was I saying? Yeah, sorry. Even right now, when everybody's using ridiculous amount of data, we're still able to at least watch our shows and everything. So it's not such a big trouble.
Yeah.
And the one thing that you said, 7 days, that has to be hats off, man. Because during the same time when I was in college, around the same time when you're doing this thing, I was downloading from my home network, as they used to call it, like campus network, used to call it D++. That was just a generic name that you, and we would internally, everybody shares in this on this thing D++, whatever they've downloaded. So they will put on that shared network. So it was more intranet situation, and from there we could download a movie in like 10 seconds or something. The movies used to be around 699 MB that time. That was the standard. You know what I'm saying, right? So because I'm technically obviously retarded. Right now I'm less retarded because I'm getting better, but still fairly retarded. So that was a good story. I think I'll take it from here and I'll talk about last story. I was fumbling, juggling between which one should I go for, but then I realized that let's tell people something bad about myself and something badass that I did, which I'm not very proud also, and I also feel like, okay, I'm not really guilty about it as well. So this is around 2003. I'm not really sure of the year, but it has to be either 3, maximum 4. It could be 2002 also. So it's give 1 year here and there. And those are the times. Also, why I'm saying that is because those are the times when people still had those. Please find the cassette thing, Bikram, for this, and to put the clip. Cassettes, like proper cassettes, like those thick cassettes we used to have and watch movies in VCRs. As you can see right now on the clip, which Bikram has already put right now, I can understand. So fucking VCRs. So I went to the store, Target store. If you're in US, you must be aware of Target. Target Australia is apparently different, but Target is one of those stores, very popular stores. Target is a store which is known for like not selling expensive things. It's more like a D-Mart of not groceries, but D-Mart of like, you know, everyday things and stuff. So I went to Target in Melbourne, and then I wanted to buy a movie which I really liked. Right now, by the way, I've forgotten which movie it was. So let's just say Erin Brockovich. I wanted to buy this. Oh no, let's not call it Erin Brockovich. Let's call it Ocean's 11, because it was definitely not Ocean's 11, but I don't remember which one I wanted, or maybe I wasn't sure. But finally, when I realized that when I was about to buy this movie, and there was this entire aisle of cassettes, and I realized that when I was buying, let's just say Ocean's 11, it was for $29.95 or $29.99. Technically $30. You know how they always write 29 something. Okay. So I was like, $30 fucking. I was like, it's expensive. But I really wanted to buy it. So, and then they have the barcode on the jacket, the thick jackets, right? And inside the cassette is there, the thick plastic jacket, like proper, like with the click sound also that comes. So I realized it was not locked or anything, and then I saw another movie which was some, the older movies, and movies are not popular. They were like, they sell them on discounts and stuff. So it was like slash prices. So it was like that movie was around $20, but it was 50% slashed, and that was $10. So it was $9.95. And I was like, then I had this very interesting idea. So imagine that, I think we'll put the picture so you'll be able to imagine. So the cassette actually is in a jacket, which is a plastic jacket. So and the barcode is on the jacket, not on the cassette, because you really don't want to put the barcode on the cassette. So what I do is, I just I know the cameras are there, so I'm like, I pick up like multiple movies and just try to play around, just to pretend that I just want to open it and just to see how it looks like or whatever. And when I put them back in, it's like, I know which one is which. So I put, interestingly, in the wrong jacket. So I put the $10 one, $9.95 one in the movie I want to watch, the Ocean's 11, which is a $30, and then I put the Ocean's the cheap one in the expensive jacket. So I go to the counter. So when they swipe, so it comes at $9.95, but inside the cassette, the actual material, the actual cassette is the one which is actually $30. So I end up taking it, and I remember there used to be a security guard in Target. So he used to be stand there, and I was passing by him, and he was like, he just, and like just the way they do in India at that time, because it's a cheap store. So I think that time they wanted, because a lot of fucking people from ghetto used to come. So he would just like, just look at your receipt, just like very casually. But I felt like, what if somebody's already called him, because he had those radios, right? Or as India people call it, walkie-talkie. So, and I looked at him, he looked at me, and he said, okay. And but in that 1 second you're just feeling, because you've done something like shitty, right? And you just feel you're still so guilty, and he's gonna just catch you. But obviously he's just doing his normal perfunctory job, and he just let me go. And I was like, and I walk out of there, I felt like I was just fucking dropped a casino like in Ocean's 11. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm the badass guy, man. And I was like, dude, I'm not coming to Target for the next 1 month at least, not this one. Fucking stay away from this thing, because these motherfuckers must be looking for me. And I am wondering. And I wondered after that of the other motherfucker who actually bought that
cheaper one.
$30 movie, and he goes home. He's like, "What the fuck is this flop movie that I got?" And then poor guy has to travel all the way back and tell them that fucking hell, this jacket has this movie, man. And then they're like, so everybody loses. Target loses money because the customer is returning, and he has to travel all the way back. Now he's like, what the fuck, man? I got the wrong movie. And obviously a $9 movie will be shit movie. He doesn't want, and he's buying that $30 movie. That means he's obviously. So I got the. So it was a wonderful thing for me that that happened. But that's the only time I've done something so officially that it can actually get me into fucking trouble. Like if they caught me, to be very honest, what they would do is that there's not going to be cop involved, honestly. But they will really blacklist me, or just like tell me like really, really badly, then tell me off like and say like, you fucking do this. Because I was young also, right? When you're young, they're like, young people do weird shit. So they will be like, if we ever see you again doing this, we're gonna fucking put you in jail, buddy. Okay. So that was gonna happen that way. By the way, when I said I've not officially done this, because I've tons of like the store codes, which is like Big Bazaar or D-Mart here. What we used to do is to take our basket when we walk in, and then first thing I would do is put the grapes or things like that in the basket. And grapes used to come in those bags, like I'll pick up a 1 kilo bag, they were open bags. So the grapes can breathe. So then I'll start doing my shopping for the next half an hour. When I'm doing my shopping, and I'll keep constantly eating grapes. And by the time it reaches the counter, the grape from 1 kilo is only half a kilo now. So it's like, it's down. So unlike India, they'll not pre-price it, right? It's like they're already tagged. They weigh it at the counter. They weigh it at the counter. So whatever the weigh comes in, they just do it from that way. Because they don't have so much labor doing that work. So I would end up eating most of it. And then they had those nuts, or as we call dry fruits in India. So they would have that open, and we'll just keep eating them randomly, like as much as possible. So, and I don't remember ever paying for any of the fucking kaju, cashew nuts or almonds. So I always mix up, how do they really pronounce almonds? I think they pronounce it almonds or almonds or something, but definitely not almonds, because I always say almonds before, but yeah, that's one word I'm never sure how to pronounce. So yeah, that was my story, that one time I stolen and I got away. And I think right now if Target is listening to it, they'll probably send me the fucking bill right now. It's like, buddy, with all the interest rates, pay us the $500 fucking dollars. Yeah, with interest. Like, it's been piling up on you, you bitch. Now you're on video. You've recorded this thing. I was like, no, I was under influence. Like, this cannot. I'll plead Second Amendment or whatever is it, Fifth or Second. I don't know whichever was. It's like, I'm not sane. I'm insane. Probably that amendment, whatever that was.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
So, yeah. So. That was our stories. I think that was pretty interesting stories. I think this is, if you watch both parts, it's not depressing like the Corona thing or anything. We just kind of came up with very interesting tales, and I think both of us had something which will make you guys also think about what has happened in your life in college or school or whenever, it could be. But I think generally a lot of things happen in college. That's it's a landmine of amazing experiences and stories, right? You can't deny that. And I just feel really bad for people who don't end up going to college, because I have known some people like, oh, college, I didn't want to go to college, I was just working. And some people I know, Bikram, they didn't even have to work. Like, these people didn't come from like, I know people come from like, they come from poor backgrounds and they have to work and other things. But people who deliberately don't go to college, like, oh, college is so boring, I don't want to go to college. And I'm like, are you fucking, particularly in DU or something, I was like, dude, it's not about college, it's about experiences, going there every day. Imagine going to those college campuses in Delhi, North Campus, massive, South Campus, which is scattered. But just when you go there, you get this amazing feeling, man. There's this youth, there's just so much vibrance. And as I said earlier, that time you're free, man. You're a bit free, fearless. You're free, you're young. Your boobs are not drooping. And the guys, you're looking good. Start shaving a little bit, it'll be better. But last 5-7 years, people have stopped shaving. So everything is just amazing, and people don't expect you to have so much money, and you just, don't judge people for all the wrong reasons. I think it's a wonderful time, and everybody gets it. And if you have a choice, at least, you should always take it and never take it for granted, because once it's gone, it's definitely not coming back.
It's not coming, yeah. Like all good things.
It's definitely not coming. Yeah, all good things end, man. That's just. But I wrote two of my novels of the three were college based, so I think I pretty much sucked everything out of it. I'm like that ganne wala guy, right? You know, the sugarcane people who keep fucking putting it in, and you're like, just give me the fucking juice. It's done, man. How many more times can you put it, right? They just like nah till it completely disintegrates. I'm like, keep putting the fucking sugarcane back in and back in and back, you know, like they just. Let it go. So that's pretty much what I've done. But then again, you never know because I'm gonna be like, oh, I can write another book on that. Who knows? I'll just come up with some other thing. So it's gonna eventually pay all my bills, right? So, but it's made me happy even if it has not paid my bills. It has made me really happy and about that. So yeah, I don't know. I already feel very happy because of this. Today I was getting a bit lazy because you said 3 o'clock. So I was like, oh, kidding. But just before the 3 o'clock, I just said, okay, let's go shower. I had not even showered. I just showered. And then I was like, I was not feeling very strong. I was like, I'm feeling, but then now I feel like, even more stronger right now. So it was good. And doing the pod is always very useful. Okay, we'll end on that. So please hit subscribe. The button will pop. It spells the same way it always spells. Subscribe. Do it. Increase the numbers, and we'll make you happier and tell you more stories which you'll like. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.